Hello, everyone. My name is Holly, and today we are going to talk about alternative energy. And we will practice vocabulary and do a quick reading and look at this topic. And then we will also do some discussion activities on energy. So this one is alternative energy. So I look forward to working with whoever is able to drop in and study English during this hour. It is 10 p.m. here in Idaho, and so it would be about 6 a.m. in Western Europe and about noon or 1 a.m. in Japan and Korea. And I'm not sure about some other countries, but anyway, alternative energy is the topic. So this will be a reading and a vocabulary class. And hopefully you will have opportunities to talk about all kinds of different subjects as well. So, hello, Oscar. How are you today?
Hello, Holly. Fine, thank you. And you?
Very good. So, and how was your day today?
It was uh, mm, a lot of work.
Okay, you worked a lot. Excellent.
Yes,
So, what do you do? Can you remind me what you do?
I am electrical engineering,
Ah, okay.
and
Okay.
this topic is very interesting for me.
Oh, good, good. And you probably know a lot more than I do. So,
Yes,
yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad you were able to be here. I like it. I always like to say that, especially like when I teach in somebody's company, I always say that they're the expert in their field, and I'm the expert in English. So, and we bring our two expertise together. So, excellent.
yes.
Good evening, Alejandro. How are you?
Hello, good evening. Fine, thank you. And you?
Good. Very good. And it's actually morning for you, isn't it? So what time is it?
1 p.m.
At 1 a.m. Yeah. So it would be morning, kind of technically, but then again, good night as well. So,
Yeah.
but we don't actually say good night as a greeting. It's only as a when you say good night to somebody, it's more of a good night or goodbye. So, but it's not a greeting, which is kind of interesting. Um, but anyway, um, have you had a good day, or did you have a good day?
Yes, I think it was a good day,
Mm-hmm.
but a
Excellent.
normal day.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Excellent. So let's go ahead and get started, and then I'm sure other people will pop in as they have the chance. So the topic is alternative energy. So the first question I have for you, and Oscar, what is alternative energy?
Alternative energy uh, are different means of the energy, different of the oil and gas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, is uh, this this energy these energies are very uh, renewable and is
What word did you say? Renewable? Renewable.
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 Yes, renewable.
Renewable. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So all right. Thank you. And I'll.
And
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. And this energy mm, aren't damage to environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So they do not damage. They do not damage the environment.
Yes.
So where the traditional energy does the traditional energy damage the environment?
Yes, the traditional energy uh, damage the environment because
Uh-huh.
mm, the CO2
Uh-huh.
damage the environment.
Okay. The CO2 can damage it. Okay.
Yes.
Right. All right. And Alejandro, how many different kinds of alternative energy can you name? Or can you name one type of alternative energy?
Yes, for example, solar
Yeah.
energy or solar panels.
Uh-huh. Solar energy. Okay. Um, Oscar, can you
Mm,
name another one?
Other alternative energy are is
Mm-hmm.
the wind and geothermic and and
Okay.
the sea too uh, can be energy electricity.
Mhm. Okay. All right. And Alejandro, can you think of any more?
yes, hydrogen, hydrogen. I don't know the word exactly.
Hydroenergy.
Yeah.
Hydrogen.
Okay. This is actually hydrogen. Is how we pronounce it. Hydrogen. So hydrogen. And then another one is very similar to that would be hydroelectric. Hydroelectric. And then there's one more that
Uh,
it,
the, the nuclear energy, for example, is an alternative energy.
but is it a good one?
Ah, okay.
I don't know if it's. I mean, it is an alternative energy, definitely. Another one though is tidal. Does anybody? Is that like with what, like the waves?
Yes,
Um. Okay.
and
Yeah.
the waves of the water.
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah. And the only one that I really am familiar with is, of course, solar energy. That's
yes,
if I had a chance, I would put. I don't own a home, but if I had a home, I one of the things I would try to do is put solar power on top of my home. Um, so because I think that that's a great alternative source. So, all right. So let's look at this. Before we're going to quickly read a text about alternative energy. But before that, we're going to look at some of these vocabulary words. So we have barren, vast, renewable, viable, takeoff. Then we have to venture, and then we have once. Alejandro, could you read the first one on the right hand side?
To be successful.
So okay, and we pronounce that, and so we pronounce it as
Co-
could,
could
could,
be.
could. So the
Could.
L is silent, so could. So it's more like
Could.
just this is a rough linguistic thing, and not completely accurate, but could be successful. Okay, so what would
Could.
that be? What word?
I have no idea.
Okay,
Venture?
no. To venture means to go somewhere and kind of go have an adventure. So, Oscar, do you have an idea what to be successful would be?
renewable, renewable,
Renewable? No, no,
No.
no, that isn't. Hello, Heidi. Nice to see you again.
Hello, nice to see you.
So, Heidi, do you know of these words? A word that maybe means could be successful or successful. It's an adjective.
Could be successful. Mm, Viable.
Viable, yeah,
Yes.
viable. So a viable a lot of times I use it as an adjective. A lot of times we say, for example, that's a viable solution. A viable solution. Maybe if someone is looking for a solution to a problem, and then that could be viable, or that's a viable solution. It could be successful. All right. Heidi, could you read the next line?
And sometime in the past, once.
At some time in the past? No,
No once.
not once. So there's another one that means once. Actually, yeah, no. Yeah, that's the only one that it would work with. When I look at it, and I look at my answers on my sheet, it has a completely different answer for once. At some time is what it says. So at some time in the past. So they've not fixed everything. So yeah, thank you, Heidi. Oscar, could you read this one and match it?
Become popular.
Mm-hmm.
Barren.
No, barren means it's empty or unable to produce.
Okay. Venture.
No, adventure means it means to actually go somewhere and have an adventure. So
Okay. Vast.
no, vast
No.
is huge. Vast is really, really big. So good. These are some good words for you guys to learn. This is the phrasal verb that is there.
Take off.
Yeah, to take off. So if something becomes popular, it starts to take off. For example, when I first started teaching online like this, it had not taken off yet. And when I would tell people would ask me what I was doing, and I would explain it, and they were like, "Really? How are you doing that?" Because it had not taken off. Now this kind of training has taken off, and it's become more popular. It's become a viable way for people to study with native speakers without leaving their home. So, Alejandro, can you read the next one?
Go somewhere despite risk. Venture.
Venture, yeah. To venture. Like, he ventured out and had a great time. So, okay, and Heidi, next word.
Unable to produce. Barren.
Barren, yes. So we have a lot of times we'll say barren land. So if you have land that you cannot produce food, we'll call that barren. Oscar, could you do the next one?
Cut always continue. Mm, mm, renewable.
Could always continue. Renewable. And that's not actually the correct one. We'll put that there, and I'm going to put the correct renewable.
Ren-
They didn't do very well with this material. And then a better
re-
replaceable or constant. If something is replaceable or constant, it is renewable.
Okay.
Okay, and then the last one, huge. Alejandro, what would that one be?
Vast.
Vast, yeah. So, for example, I would say the two countries that have the most vast land would be Russia and Canada. Their land is very vast. Okay. All right. Any questions about these words? Okay. So let's go ahead and read these, and we will look at pronunciation, and also if there are any words that you are unfamiliar with or want clarification on, please ask. So, Oscar, can you read the first paragraph?
Okay. Most experts agree that days of taking fossil fuels for granted are rapidly coming to an end. Oil fields in the United States, which were once plentiful, are now barren, forcing oil producers to venture further in search of new crude reserves. It seems that man has no choice but to find alternatives to relying on fossil fuels. Progress so far, however, is not encouraging. Alternative energy sources currently provide approximately 6% of the United States energy supply. In the United Kingdom, that figure is under 4%.
All right, thank you. Heidi, could you read the next paragraph?
There are many ideas for new renewable energy, yet should have shown themselves to be viable on a large scale. Wind farms seem attractive on paper, but the need for vast acres of land, coupled with the unreliability of nature, means that it has never taken off.
Okay. And Alejandro, next one.
Solar power is another source of renewable energy that has had mixed results. Apart from the obvious disadvantages of relying on the sun, the high cost of producing solar cells means the technology is not yet economically viable. Similar difficulties have prevented other forms of renewable energy from being implemented on a large scale.
Thank you. All right, Oscar, can you read the next one?
Perhaps the long-term solution is for the individual to look at ways of reducing electricity consumption. While it might seem that the action of one person can have little effect, experts believe that energy efficiency could cut domestic consumption but up to 40%. Whether it be lowering the temperature of the central heating insulation lofts or installing energy efficient light bulbs, the potential savings are significant.
Okay. Now keep in mind, remember this word could is could. So the L is silent here.
Good.
So these words could, would, there's this L there and it is silent. So we would say could and would.
Good. Yes.
Could, would. Okay. All right. And is there any words here that you guys do not know?
Fossil fuels for granted. What is granted?
Where is it at?
In
What
the
line?
first paragraph.
Okay. Fossil fuels for granted. Okay. To take for granted. Most experts agree that the days of taking fossil fuels for granted are rapidly coming to an end. Okay, so this is actually a phrasal verb, to take for granted. And that means if you take something for granted, you just you basically assume too much. So that might be let me think of another way to explain it. Say for example, children will take things for granted, and they don't always say thank you because they take things for granted. Oh man, I'm having a hard time thinking of some examples. So presume, if you take something for granted, you I'm trying to think of words that are easy. You just you expect other people to do something, and maybe if a person who takes things, so right here, most experts agree that the days of taking fossil fuels for granted are rapidly coming to an end. So basically what we are doing is we are just expecting fossil fuels to always be there. And it's so that we are taking it for granted. So if we expect things to always be there, then we are taking something for granted. I hope that helps. That's a hard one to explain.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, any other words?
Encouraging.
Encouraging. And where was that found?
Is in the first paragraph.
Okay, right here. Progress
Yes.
is so far, however, is not encouraging. Okay. Usually if something is encouraging, it's a very good thing. So if someone says something nice to you and it makes you feel good, it is encouraging. So if someone says, "Oh wow, your English is so good," that's very encouraging. Okay, so because you go, "Oh wow, I am progressing." Okay, so in this respect though, it is not encouraging. So they are looking for alternative fuel, right?
Yes.
But they're not doing very well. They're not being successful.
Okay.
So if you say something is not encouraging, it means that you don't see success in the future.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other words? All right. Okay, I just remembered I wanted to give you guys the link to this material if you haven't already got it. So bear with me a moment. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and go on and do some vocabulary activities related to this reading. Oh, one thing I wanted to say. It says here about wind farms seem attractive on paper, but the need for vast acres of land coupled with the unreliability of nature means that it has never taken off. So wind farms have never been popular. So wind farms are in this, like in this picture. And I've seen a lot of some wind farms in Idaho, and I've also seen them in Oregon. Oscar, do you have wind farms in your country?
Yes, in my country there are many wind farms,
Mm-hmm.
and in the coast there are a park who who this park has different different um, 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 generation of the wind.
Okay. Okay, so they have a different generation of the windmills?
Yeah, windmills. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, all right. And how about in Japan, Heidi? Do you guys have any wind farms with a bunch of windmills all over?
Yeah, there are many windmills, but some windmills came from Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
In Denmark, they generate the electricity by a lot of windmills. But
Is
that
it?
place is very, very quiet. Always the wind came from the same direction. But in
Mm-hmm.
Japan, it's much different. We have typhoon or
Mm-hmm.
they always change their direction. So many of them were had broken.
Mm-hmm. Because
So
of the strong wind?
yes, so to generate the energy by windmill is very difficult in Japan.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, because I know I didn't realize that Denmark had a lot of it. I know Holland was also are very famous for their windmills.
When we fly with the airplane, when we approach the Denmark, we can see a
Uh-huh.
lot of in the sea, right?
Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. But of course, Denmark and Holland are right next to each other, right? So, are very close. So it totally makes sense. Yeah. Um, Alejandro, how about in Argentina? Are there wind farms?
Yes, sure. I saw a lot of those new fans in the south of the country, in the Patagonia, because it's very windy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's in the southern part.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I was because I had my first windmill meal that I'd ever seen was in Holland, and then I came back to the States, and all of a sudden I see all these windmills, and I'm like, wait, what? So I was really actually quite surprised with that. All right, so let's go on. Welcome, Ken. How are you?
Yes, hello, how are you?
Good, good. We're going to go ahead and actually just start a discussion activity about renewable or alternative energy. And so the first question, Oscar, how much energy do you think your country gets from alternative sources?
Uh, in my country, the electric generation is principally for uh, hydrogen and or hydroelectric.
Okay, so hydrogen. So the two alternative forms that you guys actually have are hydrogen and hydroelectric. What specifically is that? What is hydroelectric energy? Is that from water or?
Yes, for what?
From water.
Okay.
In Japan, too, already started selling hydrogen car, and they will start to sell this
Really?
year. Yeah.
Okay. This is time for a Google image. Hydroelectric car. Okay, if it's got water, how do they do this? Okay, let's see.
My country has a very hydric source and is approach
So,
the fall of the water to make a generation, electric generation.
say that again. Electric what?
Is a to take advantage for the fall of the water. Yes, or produce the electric energy.
Okay. So they're trying to use the weather to produce electric energy.
Yes.
Is that what you? Okay. Yeah. And this is is this kind of what they're producing for hydroelectric cars? They kind of look nice.
Yeah, and even it's very quiet.
Is it? So like do they put water in this and then they put
the hydrogen will come from seawater.
Okay. This is really interesting. Let's see. This is kind of probably explains it a little. Let's see. Hydrogen car layout. So we have the fuel cell, hydrogen tanks, power control unit, the motor, and then water will leak the exhaust. Okay, this is the water and interesting. I was not aware of hydrogen cars or hydroelectric cars. That's something new. Thank you for sharing, for both of you. So, Heidi, are there any projects in your country creating alternative energy?
Yes, about hydrogen. Government already constructed the nuclear fusion energy system.
Okay.
Fusion system. They use uranium, but
uranium.
But the hydrogen fusion system is different. It's only hydrogen.
Is that safe?
Very safe, because they doesn't emit some bad substances.
Okay.
Even America is studying about that.
Yeah, well, it probably, I don't know. I don't even pay attention to the energy debate and so forth. So it's kind of like the coffee one that I taught. I don't know much about coffee, but like I was telling Oscar, I'll be the English expert and you guys can be the expert in this area. So, yeah.
In Japan, we had a lot of volcanoes and surrounded by sea. So scientists are studying about the geothermal energy and wave energy from the sea.
Yeah, well, and which you have so many waves, it totally makes sense. But now, you had a nuclear power plant. You had a problem with a nuclear power plant at one time.
Yeah,
Is it the same kind of?
no, it's 17 facilities in Japan, but all stopped now.
Okay. Oh,
Because
okay. They're
explosion. It
uh-huh.
happened years ago.
Okay, so they've changed over to that. All right, thank you, Heidi. So the next question, Alejandro, can you describe the best place near your home where a wind farm could be placed?
For me, the best place is near the coast
Mm-hmm.
because it's very windy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh,
And no, but isn't the coastal area, is that warm?
no,
Or
in the south of the country, the coast
Mhm.
in the south of the country.
Okay. Okay, the southern part. Okay. All
Mhm.
right, thank you. And Ken, are you careful about the amount of electricity you consume? Could you do better?
I think kind of current electric appliances is less using electricity, but maybe air conditioner or some electric appliance consume a lot of, or refrigerator consume a lot
Mm-hmm.
of electricity. So
Mm-hmm. So,
then mhm.
so do you use the air conditioner at all times, or do you only use it
No,
when it's really, really hot?
because not only this reason, but also my throat is vulnerable air condition, uh, dry air. So I'm not using air conditioning in the winter time. I'm
Mm-hmm.
using only in the summertime, but not all the time. Maybe air conditioned air is not good for my health. So
Yeah.
I especially at night I don't use it. I'm not late at night. I don't while I'm
Okay.
sleeping or something.
Yeah. I had a house guest one time. I had a four-bedroom home. It was a very large home, and my electricity bill was actually quite high since there was only me living there. But then I had this house guest that came for about 3-4 months, and she was wanting to have the air conditioner on all the time. So I finally said, okay, you need to help me pay for this. so, so if and I don't, and I'm a
Mm.
person that I
Yeah, and
don't
America,
like
yeah,
air conditioning. so
yes, and American public place air condition is very strong. I have a silver in the harsh summertime in America.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
especially where
I
you
always
were.
bring the jacket
Uh-huh.
to prevent the problem. Outside is very hot and muggy, and inside it's cold. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, especially like where you were down in Georgia,
yeah,
because
February. Yeah.
Georgia is actually very, very hot and humid in the summertime. Where I am, we have a few weeks in the summertime that it gets in the 40s, but the average temperature for most of the summer is about between 26 and 30, so it doesn't get too hot.
Okay.
But then we have a couple weeks towards the end of July, the first part of August, where it gets 30 plus and sometimes even 40 plus. So, um, all right. So the next question, Oscar, what is the problem with using fossil fuels to generate electricity?
Uh, the fuels, uh, fossil fuels. The problem is the the CO2.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this gas uh, create the greenhouse effect in the atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
and is the is the pollution of the environment.
Now, I was very, very surprised when I came back to the States, and I learned that there are a lot of Americans who do not believe in the greenhouse effect. Have you heard that? That there are people that do not believe this? Oscar, did you know? Did you know that there were people that did not believe that the greenhouse effect is true?
Mm, mm, but this effect mm, need to overhead
Uh-huh.
the the temperature of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they have a lot of proof that it is true, but there's a group of Americans that just don't believe it and they think it's government conspiracy. So I was like, really? I couldn't believe it. So, um, so Heidi, next question. Should we turn to nuclear power as a solution to our power needs?
Yeah, it's very difficult in Japan. Many people disagree with that nuclear power generation to restart.
Mm-hmm.
But my opinion are a little different. We need to use the nuclear power generation system at least 2 or 3 because many countries, including China or America or a lot of countries, already had the nuclear bomb.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that, but we need to study about that to protect from that bomb.
Yeah.
For that, we need to use nuclear generation system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know in Finland it's a really hot issue because there are several areas that have nuclear power plants, and then you have people who that don't agree, and so it's a very hot issue there.
But if the government stops all nuclear facilities,
Uh-huh.
and the young people don't want to learn about nuclear power.
Mm-hmm.
They still need to keep that because of nuclear bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Heidi. So Alejandro, what other problems are related to nuclear power?
I think one of the most important problem is the waste, the nuclear waste. Um, the radiation could be.
Okay. Nuclear waste and radiation. And yeah, and I think the radiation is a big one, and nuclear waste as well. But I totally agree with you. Thank you. And then Ken, should the government do more to deal with this issue?
After the nuclear power plant accident, kind of government trying to kind of urgent issue, but the government changed the law, and after that they changed the law to support solar power panels. Such kind of debate is always happening.
Okay, so could you say that again? I'm having trouble understanding you.
Yeah. After the nuclear power accident, government established a law to support to buy a nuclear solar panel. But the new government, and after the government changed, and the regime changed, so that new regime changed that established law as well again. So that kind of controversy always happening here. So it's a big issue here.
Oh, is it do people debate the topic? Does everybody have their opinion about it and everything?
And some people are doing that, and some people are not doing that.
Okay.
But it's kind of hot, sensitive kind of debate topic,
Uh-huh.
controversial topic.
Yeah.
After that,
Yeah,
that step.
that's how it is in Finland as well. It's a very, very controversial. I don't in the States. It probably is controversial, but it's just not a topic that I have really talked to, except when I have done this lesson, like I've taught it 2 or 3 times. So, um, anyway, let's go on. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at some energy questions, questions on energy. And so what we're going to do this is we're going to change, instead of me just asking each of you guys some questions, we're going to have you guys ask each other and try to have a conversation. So let's start with Heidi, women first, right? Heidi, could you choose a question and ask somebody else? And of course, and listen and ask follow-up questions and see if you guys can have a conversation about that.
Okay, number one, does your country need a lot of energy? Yes, I think so, because Japan is an industrial country, so we need to use a lot of energy. Then create some car or electronic devices to export to other countries. For that, we need to use a lot of energy.
Okay, and what about Oscar? What about your country?
Yes, my country need a lot of energy for the industrial and the to make different things, and the the office service of the energy, and the lights in the country, and the for homes, to the service of the home.
And is there for both of you, is there a push in your country to try to get people to conserve energy?
Yes, um, the people is using lights, save save energy, and the equipment of the home are very low consumption, and the use of the light uh, light solar.
Okay. So they're trying to come up with different alternative energies like solar for that. Okay. Thank you. All right, Oscar, can you choose a question?
The second,
Whichever question you want, whatever you find interesting.
does your country use a lot of renewable energy? Heidi?
So, Heidi, does your country use a lot of renewable energy? Heidi, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Number 5.
Renewable energy. I'm not sure. Maybe yes. Yeah, maybe I think so.
Okay, but you're not sure. Okay.
I'm not sure.
And Oscar, how about your country?
In the coast is is used to renewable energy with the windmill.
Mhm.
Mm, in other use, but not a lot, in solar energy.
Mhm. Okay. So say that again. Could you repeat that, Oscar?
Yes, my country, the major of the generation electric
Mhm.
is for source hydroelectric,
Mhm.
but a little used to renewable energy,
Mhm.
uh, especially in the coast for
Mhm.
the the uh, for the windmill,
Mhm.
and a little of the solar field.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. All right. And all right. I'm going to choose a question. So number 8, Heidi, have you started buying energy efficient appliances for your house?
Mm. Many houses are already constructed. The
Mm-hmm.
solar panels they are
Mm-hmm.
covered
Oh,
by
really?
panels.
Uh-huh.
Then they sell the energy
Uh-huh.
companies.
Mm-hmm.
It's helpful for paying loan.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But
Yeah.
my case, very small things. LED lamp. It consumes the energy only 10% of the lamp bulbs.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So that's not as much. So wait, are you talking about when you say lamps, are you meaning the lights in the
yes,
house?
yes, yes. Then if I go to the supermarket or someplace, I can't buy the lamp bulb, the former lamp bulb. They are
Okay.
selling only LED lamps.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's actually happening in the States as well. We can't find the proper they're not actually called lamps, they're called light bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right. And so is this what you were when you meant lamps, you were talking about this, right?
Yeah, that's right. And it's very
Okay, good.
expensive. Double or triple of price
Of
compared
the
to
of,
before the older type of lamps. But
uh-huh.
to last 10 years, we don't need to change lamp bulb and
Yeah, the light bulb.
light bulb.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe it's very good.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. And Oscar, how about you? Have you started buying energy efficient appliances for your house?
Yes, in the in my house, uh, everything light bulbs are
Mhm.
energy efficient light bulbs.
Oh, are
And
they? Okay.
yes, and for the for for cook, uh, mm, the 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 source is a gas, not electricity, and is reduce reduce the consumption of the electric energy.
Yeah, electrical energy is what we'll
Electrical,
say.
yes.
Electrical Energy. Okay.
and change the equipment, the old equipment for new equipment,
Mm-hmm.
more efficiency, and reduce the consuming consume
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can say it is. You can say it is more efficient.
more efficient. Yes.
Yeah. More efficient. Okay. Excellent. So Heidi, can you choose another question? Heidi?
I'm sorry, I muted.
No,
Yes,
you mute. Oh, so you were talking all this time, and then you're. Don't you hate it when that happens? It's like
do
I'll
you
be.
think
I'll.
scientists will solve the world energy problems? Yeah,
Okay. So,
I
uh,
hope so.
you hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if they'll be able to, but I don't know. So,
For
oh,
example, I already mentioned hydrogen car. The people
uh-huh.
produce the hydrogen from the seawater. So
Mhm.
even the poor countries in the future, they can make the hydrogen from the seawater. They
Mhm.
don't need to import the fossil fuel from the Middle East countries anymore.
Mhm. Yeah. Oscar, what do you think as an electrical engineer?
Yes. Uh, but the scientists could be solve the problems of the war energy, uh,
Mhm.
but always the mm, there are many consumption of the energy, and
Mhm.
mm, the
Okay.
senses could be the high efficiency, but
Efficiency.
yes, but the mm, the consumption could be high consumption.
Uh-huh. But so would you say that uh, the consumption, the energy consumption by many of us, it would be a bit too much?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, is it true that Americans are the worst,
Okay.
as in U.S. Americans? I've heard that we are the worst.
Mm.
That's what I've heard. I don't know. But all right. Well, it looks like we are out of time. I do want to thank you both for your participation, and I hope you learned. I hope you got a chance to practice speaking about actually this topic, which is it can be kind of difficult to talk about. So, thank you both very much, and have a wonderful day. And Oscar, sleep well, I guess, when you finally get to bed. And Heidi, finish having a great day. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thanks all.
Bye.
See
Goodbye.
you. Bye.
Bye.